Today, we're cracking open a genuine cold case from the last bloody days of World War I. It's an unbelievable story of survival against all odds and a mystery that for a while seemed to have no solution at all. So let's just start with the central puzzle right away. Picture this. It's October 1918. You're one of 554 soldiers, completely surrounded. The enemy is in front of you, but the shells raining down on your head, they're from your own army. So how on earth do you get a message through a wall of bullets to tell them to stop? Okay, so let's set the scene. We're deep in the Argonne Forest in France. The year is 1918. The terrain is just a total nightmare. We're talking mud, fog, and shattered trees everywhere. It is the perfect place for a trap and for a whole battalion of American soldiers to just, well, vanish. And get this, we're not talking about a small squad here. The number is 554. 554 men, part of it would later be called the Lost Battalion, had advanced too far, too fast, and walked right into an ambush. They are totally, completely cut off. As you can imagine, their situation is getting worse by the minute. They're out of food, they're running out of water, and men are getting wounded. But honestly, the biggest problem, the most critical one, their total isolation. They're like ghosts out there, completely unable to let anyone know where they are. And this is what makes their situation so absolutely terrifying. They're caught in this deadly vice. On one side, you have German machine guns pinning them down. But then, raining down from the sky are American artillery shells. You see, their own army thinks the Germans hold that position. They are literally being erased from the map by friendly fire. So, that brings us right to the heart of our cold case. If you can't tell your commanders to stop shooting at you, you are absolutely doomed. We need to look at why every single line of communication just failed. And this right here, this is the key piece of evidence. It's a desperate note from the battalion's commander, Major Whittlesey. You can just feel the sheer panic and urgency in his words, right? This little piece of paper is their last hope. The question is, how do you get it out? Well, the standard methods were useless. Any telephone wires they laid were instantly shredded by the constant shelling, and sending a human runner, that was just a suicide mission. Every single soldier who tried was cut down by German machine guns that had every single escape route covered. So, with all the usual options off the table, we're left with a real head-scratcher. It's time to investigate the theories, our suspects, if you will, for how this message for help could have possibly gotten through. All right, suspect A, the lone hero. Is it possible that one super brave, or maybe just super lucky soldier, managed to zigzag through the machine gun fire? Well, the historical records are crystal clear. The verdict is impossible. No way. That terrain was so saturated with bullets, survival wasn't just unlikely, it was basically zero. Case closed on that one. Okay, how about suspect B? Do the Germans just decide to call it a day? Maybe they ran out of ammo or got new orders. Well, we checked their records too, and this theory is completely debunked. They weren't retreating at all. In fact, they were doing the opposite, tightening the noose, getting ready for one final assault to wipe the Americans out for good. So, let's pause here. If a man couldn't get through, and the enemy was actually pressing harder, what are we left with? Every logical explanation is a dead end. So, how on earth did that message get delivered? How did anyone survive this? This is where our cold case takes a sharp turn, from a straightforward military story into something that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. The truth here is way, way stranger than fiction. I mean, really think about it. What could possibly get through a sky thick with explosives and a forest swarming with enemy soldiers? What can move with speed and not be immediately shot down? Because the hero of this story, the mysterious witness that cracked this whole case and saved the Lost Battalion, wasn't a soldier. In fact, it wasn't human at all. It was a carrier pigeon. That's right, a bird. You know, we think of them as simple, but the army relied heavily on these birds. They have this incredible homing instinct, and believe it or not, during the war, they were often way more reliable than new tech like radios. And the hero of our story is this specific bird right here. Her name was Cher, which is French for dear friend. And she was about to live up to that name in the most incredible way you can imagine. Her journey was just incredible. I mean, look at this. She's released, and almost immediately German soldiers spot her and just open fire. And she's hit. She's actually shot out of the sky. But somehow, she gets back up and keeps flying. The journey this hero had to make was 25 miles. 25 miles flying over a battlefield with hundreds of soldiers on the ground actively trying to shoot it out of the sky. And that 25-mile journey, it took just 25 minutes, a mile a minute, flying straight through a storm of bullets. That kind of speed was literally the only thing standing between life and death for those men trapped below. So let's look at the aftermath, because the hard evidence that proves this story is just as amazing as the flight itself. This is what makes Cher one of the most unlikely heroes in all of history. When Cher finally arrived at headquarters, she was battered and bloody, but the message was there. The coordinates were read, the friendly fire was stopped, and because of that one little bird's 25-minute flight, 194 soldiers were saved. And if you want forensic proof of her bravery, this is it. The damage was severe. She'd been shot clean through the chest. She was blinded in one eye, and her leg, the one carrying that life-saving message, was hanging on by a single tendon. The fact that she flew at all is it's unbelievable. And in case you're thinking this all sounds a little too good to be true, well, here's the final piece of evidence. Army medics actually managed to save her life. And today you can go to the Smithsonian and see Cher for yourself. She stands there as a permanent physical witness to her own incredible courage. So what's the big takeaway from all this? In a war that was defined by these giant industrial killing machines, tanks, artillery, machine guns, one of its greatest heroes was a tiny bird. It's just a powerful reminder that courage and determination, well, they can be found in the most unexpected of places. So that's the solution to our cold case. But it kind of leaves us with a much bigger question to chew on, doesn't it? In this new, modern war, a war defined by terrifying technology like machine guns, tanks, and poison gas, what does it mean that one of the bravest, most impactful acts was carried out by a simple bird with nothing but a pair of wings? It's just a powerful reminder that sometimes real courage comes from the most unexpected places.